Hi, Speculoos here, and we're going to continue our little series on the training pyramid or the training scale. Last week we talked about rhythm, that our goal is to have the horse go forward in a consistent rhythm that he maintains in all three gaits. And this week we're going to move to the next stage of the training ladder or the training pyramid, and that is relaxation. Now sometimes you'll hear relaxation, the second tier of the pyramid, you'll hear it called sometimes looseness or suppleness, or the German word for it is, and all my German friends are going to wince when I try to say this, but is Losegelassenheit, which kind of encompasses all that sense of looseness, suppleness, and all of that. I tend to call it relaxation simply because it kind of, there's a certain alliteration to rhythm, relaxation, and contact. The first three, it kind of makes it easier for the kids to remember, so that's what I go with. So what you'll find is that the first three levels of the training pyramid, they're really intertwined, and they kind of all sort of go together. And let's just, for example, you might have a horse that has a steady rhythm, but he's very much against the rider's hand, so there might be contact, so to speak, but the horse might be, very stiff or rigid, so there's no relaxation, right? And so you're not going to get very far in your training. You have to have all three, but it's kind of holistic, right? You have to have it all at the same time. So it's a little tough sometimes to tease the three levels apart, but we're going to give it a shot. So I want to start first with, what does it look like? And for this, I've decided that I videotaped some of our students this week, just because it's not perfect, but they're striving towards those first three levels. And for some people, they'll say it's not very exciting working in these three levels. And I guess I'm just so proud of these young kids, because it isn't that exciting for them. They'd rather be jumping and doing all these things, and yet they're wholly dedicated to getting this right, which I think is really great. So what we're really looking for is that the horse, so his eyes and his ears should look relaxed. I've got horses here that when they start to really work well and they relax, their ears start to sort of flop like this, and it's really cute. Their eyes get very soft. Their mouth should close, like not clenched close, like tight, but they should be, it should be softly closed. Sometimes you'll hear people when they're talking about groundwork, they'll say, the horse should be licking and chewing. It's the same thing when you ride, right? You get that feeling the horse is sort of moving his tongue a little bit, but he's not gaping his mouth open or resisting the contact, resisting the bit. We're also looking for a softly swinging tail. The horse's back should be relaxed and sort of swing as he trots. Now, sometimes I'll have beginner students, they'll say, well, that's a little hard to discern for me. I can see if the mouth is open and things like that, but some of the other things are maybe a little bit too subtle or a little bit too, just hard for them to figure out. Here's what I would recommend to you. If you want to know if your horse is relaxed, listen for that blowing sound that they make. That is like music to your ears. When you hear that sound, you should be really pleased, because it just means your horse is starting to relax. Overall, the horse should just give an impression of being mentally and physically without tension. And the more you watch it, the easier it is for you to see that. Knowing what it looks like, there's a number of factors, right, that will affect how we achieve relaxation in the horse. So I would think, sort of environment, the training of the horse, and the experience of the rider. So like if you're in a outdoor area where it's really windy and there's a lot of distractions, or even an indoor riding school that maybe is cold or windy or noisy, something like that, or maybe perhaps even a horse that hasn't been turned out today or something. You're riding first thing in the morning and he's coming right from his box stall to be ridden. All of these factors will affect how long it takes you to get the horse to relax. The next factor is the horse's training. So if you have a horse that was started correctly and has worked through these three levels all his life, it doesn't take that long to get the horse to that place, right? Like it really doesn't, because they recognize it. There can be distractions and things like that, but the horse comes around to the work because he recognizes it as something he's always done, and so it's easier. If you're trying to work with a horse that has no idea, has never been asked to maintain a rhythm, has never been asked to relax or to accept the contact, all of those things, you're going to have your work cut out for you. It's going to take a little bit longer. It's not that it's impossible, it's just going to take a little bit longer. The third sort of factor in the process of this is the experience of the rider, right? So if you have a fairly inexperienced or sort of beginner type rider that still is kind of struggling to maintain the control of their body, they're going to interfere with the horse's balance a little bit, interfere, giving the horse sort of conflicting aids. And so that's going to take a lot longer for the horse to relax. Some horses never will, and that's of course what makes the school horses so wonderful, because they can figure this out and they can manage to do their job even when they're being a little bit distracted by a beginner rider. One of the things you really want to remember when it comes to horses is that their physicality and their mental and their state of mind is really, really connected together. So what I mean by that is, like, if you look at horses like these guys standing out here grazing in a field, you know, their head is down, their back is up a little bit. They're a picture of relaxation, right? Everything about their body posture suggests they're relaxed. Now, if you look at these guys, then they're startled by something. You'll see that the head goes up, the back drops, so they're head high, croup high, low back, and everything about that posture is the posture of flight. That is the posture the horse takes when he's frightened and he's determining whether or not he should run away from whatever it is he's afraid of. That is not, there's no relaxation in that, and rightly so. There shouldn't be at that point, because it may be a matter of survival for him. Our job is to try to get the horse to adopt the posture of relaxation when we ride him. And trust me, his mind will catch up with his body if you can manage to do that. So next week, we're going to work on the third step of the training pyramid, which is contact. So far we've gone through rhythm, relaxation, and next week we're going to look at contact. And that's going to give us some more answers as to how we could convince the horse to adopt a posture of relaxation and to have him work in all three gaits in a nice rhythm and be relaxed. Not only does this kind of work make it nicer for the horse, make it more enjoyable for the horse, but it also really does help them stay sounder longer. If you're watching this anywhere besides at our blog, which is at ismyhorsehappy.com, go on over there, scroll down, leave us a message. Let me know where you are if you're using this kind of training. Let me know where you are in the training pyramid. If you've never used it before, but you're going to give it a shot, I'd love to hear about that too. So until next week, remember to thank your horse, and we'll see you. Thanks.